welcome back to Boots and Bunny Homestead. And as you see, we are outside today. So for this video, I have been asked to be in a collaboration for a Jam It Up June, and it is hosted by Tony at Kettle's Kitchen. I will leave the link below to his channel and to the playlist so you can go watch everyone else's videos and share the love around. So with us being outside today, you might be wondering, what the heck is she gonna do? So we are out here collecting honeysuckles because we are actually going to do a honeysuckle jelly. And a lot of you might not have ever heard of it. You may have heard of it, never tried it. I've actually never made it. I have heard of it. I have actually eaten it because I had a friend that made some last year. She shared it with me, and so now this year I want to make my own. Well, as luck have it, or as God provides for us, I have lived here on this property for 7 years, and up until last year I have never had honeysuckle on this property. Last year she made it. She made the jelly for me. I tried it. It was fabulous. So this year I want to try to make it, because if you look behind me, I've got a whole patch of honeysuckles that has come up from wherever. God has provided me honeysuckles this year, and last year I just had one little patch, and this year I have probably quadruple the amount. So for the recipe I'm going to be sharing, it is a recipe that takes 2 cups of honeysuckles, and you can pick either the yellow ones or the orange ones or the white ones. The more yellow or orangish colored ones you have, the more rich golden color you're actually going to get for your jelly. So if you want it to be a little bit clearer, you can use the white ones. If you want it to be a little more golden yellow, like sunshine yellow, then you can use the darker honeysuckles. So I've got to get busy because it's going to take a while to get 2 cups of these little bitty flowers. Okay, I think I've got plenty right now. So let me go inside and give you the rundown on honeysuckle, because my daughter informed me yesterday that she had never had honeysuckle before, and that broke my heart. She is 15 years old. She should have had honeysuckle by now. Okay, so for information purposes, I need to show you the different parts of a honeysuckle, because that is what is going to be pertinent for you and your children to go out and pick honeysuckle and be able to bring it back in and make the honeysuckle jelly. Now, the first thing you need to know, this is a honeysuckle. They come in a vibrant dark yellow, almost like a mustard yellow, a light yellow, a white. The older they get, the darker they are. Now you also see all these little pistons, the stamen, all that good stuff right there. This one right here in the middle is the one we are concentrating on. Now, hopefully I can show you this. Okay, so whenever you harvest honeysuckle, you need to make sure that the little end cap is still on there. It's not open. Because what you need to do is take your finger and try to take like a small fingernail or something and lightly pinch it, but do not go all the way through. As soon as you feel it kind of squish and like break that skin, stop, because you don't want to cut the stamen, the end of the stamen off. Now what we're going to do is we are going to pull it out Alright, let's try not to focus on my face. Alright, you see that little string right there? You're pulling it down through the flower. And as it goes through the flower, you will feel it through your fingers. And as it comes out the end, you don't want to pull it all the way out. Hang on, that one was too old. Let me get a fresher one. Hang on. This one's good. This one should be good. Okay. So I'm going to do it again, pinch it, and then I'm only pinching it probably 1/4 of an inch of the way up. So pinch it, pull it out, you'll see the stamen go in, and then right there is what you are looking for. Did you guys see that? I hope you can. I'm trying to stay out of the focus. Let's see. You see that? I can't get any closer, but that clear liquid right there is what you're looking for. That's what's going to make our jelly. But whenever you are going out harvesting these, you do it and you can taste it. That's why it's called honeysuckle, because the nectar inside of the flower, as you pull it backwards with the stamen right there, that it pulls that honey part out of it, and that's where the honey part comes from. So I lost those 2 flowers, but that's okay. That was a teaching moment for you guys to learn how to enjoy honeysuckle out in the wild. And now that's where we are going to use it in our benefit to make honeysuckle jelly. Now, I totally went AWOL and pulled the whole end of the vine off because it was in a ditch back there and I was scared there's snakes because it's mating season. So I went ahead and just pulled the whole tip end off. I did not hurt the plant because it's a vine and it is there to make seed. So basically I pulled it out. It will make more on the other plant vines as it grows out. I did not take them all. I just took the ones I could reach, just enough to what I needed, and I stopped. I did not hurt the plant, but I got lazy because I did not want to get bit by a snake. So I pulled leaves and all off, and this is the part where we've got to go back through the flowers anyways, because we've got to pull that out just like I told you on every single flower. We've got to open it up and get that that nectar started to come out, and then we've got to do the next step. So what I'm going to do right now is I've got to measure the flowers just to make sure I have enough, and then from there we will start opening them up to activate that nectar, and we're going to put them in a jar. Probably I'll look back over it, but probably going to be just a quart jar, and then I'll show you the next process. Now what we need to do real quick, I've got about 2 cups here measured out in this bowl. We need to put these in a colander and let them soak in some water for just a little bit, just kind of get the bugs floating to the top, and just gently rinse them off because you don't want to disturb the nectar or anything on the inside. The tunnel where the nectar is kind of creates like a little suction where the water should not go up in there. So we are going to place these in a colander and then just kind of lower them down in some water and just kind of swish them around and pick them up and just let them naturally drain. In the meantime, we need to start boiling 2.5 cups of water. And if it's going to take you a little bit, you might want to do 3 cups and then just measure out 2.5 cups, because whenever it boils, it may evaporate some and it'd be less than 2.5 cups. So let's go ahead and rinse these off and get our pan on the stove and get our water heating up. Okay guys, we've got them rinsed, we've got them washed. Now what we've got to do is what I showed you earlier and go through here and pull the little stamens through it to activate that nectar. And then we're just going to simply put it in our boiling water. I've done a few here, not realizing my camera wasn't on, but I've done a few here. We're just going to, my battery died. So we're going to be putting the honeysuckle in the jar and then putting a cap on top of it. And then we're going to let this steep for 4 hours until it's completely cool. So I'll see you back then. Let me show you again. Whenever you pinch the bottoms off and then pull it out, you want that stamen to go down in there. Stamen, not steamen. And then that clear honey jelly stuff right there. The clear honey stuff, that nectar, is what we want. We don't want to pull that completely out. Alright, so we've got our honeysuckle infusion here. Now, sometimes this will turn green, other times it will stay kind of a yellowish clear color, which is fine. Either way is fine. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and strain this out. Now, I have this little one right here because it's my finer mesh and it will take more of whatever is left in here out. Let's go ahead and we'll turn this on medium high just to let it go ahead and be heating. Now here I've got my big pan that I love to cook in for jellies and stuff because it's got a thick bottom and the stuff doesn't burn, and it's also non-stick. So I'm going to take my little sieve here and we are just going to pour the infused water into the pan. And we'll let this drain out for just a minute. Okay, and all this can go into compost or to your chickens or something. So now to this we are going to add, now I've got a bottle of lemon juice here, but this is actually lemon juice that I squeezed out. You can find that video in my 3 recipes for lemons video. And for this, it is about the juice of a lemon. So we're going to do about 2 tablespoons. I'm sorry. The juice of half a lemon is a teaspoon. We're going to do 2 teaspoons. And if your water is green, it will start to clear up at this point. Go ahead and stir this in. Okay, and at this time we're going to add 1 box of Sure Gel or whatever pectin that you use. Now, I'm just going to say I'm following the Sure Gel instructions for this one. I'm not sure of the liquid, or if you use is it Palma's pectin or whatever that one is. I'm not sure about all that, but we are just going to use the Sure Gel. And to use this, we are going to just sprinkle it in, stir it up, and then bring this to a boil. So go ahead and leave it on high. Bring this to a rolling heavy boil. And then we'll have to let it set for a minute on doing the heavy boil. In the meantime, I've got 3.5 cups of sugar here that I've got already pre-measured and waiting. Back here, I also have a couple of jars ready. A water bath of hot water that is boiling, or that is heating up to boil. I have a rack in the bottom because this is going to be a water bath recipe. So I'm getting my jars ready as this is heating up. So you can do whatever process works for you. This is just how I'm doing it. And for items like this that I'm already done with, I'll go ahead and put them back in the meantime while I'm waiting on this to boil. Now if you've ever made jelly before, or if you haven't, A rolling boil is a boil that does not stop whenever you stir it. So you can see it's boiling, and as I stir it, it's staying there. You can see the bubbles on the bottom. So we want to start timing this once the whole thing starts to boil and stays boiling whenever you stir it. It's almost there. Not quite yet. Because see, you can't see the bubbles as I'm stirring, and then when I stop they come back. So it's not ready yet. And we need all of this to boil. Okay, so as you can see here, as I'm stirring, the bubbles do not go away. So let's start our timer for a minute. This part of the process is what you do not want to rush. You have to have that full minute of that hard rolling boil. Alright, and our minute is up. So now we are going to stir the sugar in. Yes, it is going to stop boiling. So we have to get the sugar mixed in, bring it back to a boil, and then we're going to do it all over again. So this is the part where you've got to have your jars and everything ready, because after this boils for 1 full minute, then it's ready to jar. You'll also know whenever it starts to heat up, because it's kind of cloudy right now. And whenever that sugar starts to dissipate, immediately it'll go to clear. See, I can see the bottom of the pan now. So it just clears up that quick. Okay. Keep stirring it. And whenever it gets back to that rolling boil, then do your 1 minute. Okay, here's my rolling boil. Okay, there's my 1 minute. So I will cut that off. And I'm going to slide it to the middle. Alright, so from here, this is actually going to be a pretty clear jelly, it looks like. Alright, from here you got to work fast. And make sure you keep all your utensils in some form of water, because they will get really sticky and hard to clean. This is where I like to get a silicone spatula. Need to get as much of this out as you can. And it'll already be gelling. Okay, so this makes 4.5 half pints, which would be the 2.5 cups. Minus a little bit that we had to cook off. These are half pint jars, not pint jars. Alright, let me get my rag. Alright, we gotta wipe all of this off around the edge. And I'm just gonna water bath these 4. I'm gonna let this partial one just gel, and then because we've already done the gel process, water bathing is just to heat it up to temp, get everything sterilized, and then create that vacuum seal inside the jars. These are hot. And these are just going to sit inside of the water bath. I may have to add a little bit of water, because you want these covered so you can sterilize the top. You know what? I'll go ahead and just throw this one in there, and that may that may top it off. No, I still gotta have just a little bit more water. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in here. Get those jars covered by about an inch or so. And I'm gonna turn this back on high to bring it back to a boil. Once the boiling starts, I'm going to start my timer. Kids, I got some crumbs on the top. And then I'm going to put this over it, but have a little bit of vent because this may boil over if I'm not in here watching it. And I don't want that to happen. Okay guys, so making honeysuckle jelly is as easy as that. It does take a little bit of time to get the flowers picked and to get them all pulled apart, rinsed, and put in a jar and let it steep. That's the longest amount of time, is to really just let it steep. Now mine went about 6 hours. I'm going to clean while I talk. Mine went about 6 hours because I had a ball game to go to. And if you have to, you can do this like one afternoon, let it sit overnight, or you can let it sit for 4 hours, strain it, and stick it in the refrigerator if you have to. You are just infusing water. So the water is not going to change no matter the amount of time. You just need to have the time to infuse it. Then once you strain it out, it's not going to change. So you can stick it in the refrigerator overnight and do it the next day if you need to. Or you can just leave the flowers in it and let it sit. I wouldn't let it sit no more than 12 hours. So if you need to stick the flowers and water and everything in the refrigerator, just make sure you do it within 24 hours or the next day. So I'm going to get the timer set once these start to boil. And it's starting to boil here and a few bubbles coming up. So it's starting to boil. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit to where it's going to keep that continuous boil but not boil out. Time it for 10 minutes. I'll bring you back and show you what the end product is. Well guys, that is my homemade jelly for honeysuckle jelly. Go and check out all of the other channels in the playlist. We are doing one new recipe a day, so make sure you are following everyone on there. Check back because Tony has a playlist that is going to have all of the other participants in there. Check back every day, see which one's new. Make sure you go and check out everyone's channel, and we will see you later guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.